The phone screamed on the counter. Not rang. Screamed. A sharp, wet vibration against granite, timed perfectly with the hiss of butter hitting a hot pan. Pancakes, blueberries, the normal theater of a morning that was supposed to be harmless. The message preview lit the room. Last night was wild. I didn't move. Neither did she. Our 10-year-old read faster than either of us could breathe. "Mommy?" my daughter said, too loud, too curious. "Who is Brad?" Silence collapsed the kitchen. The pan slipped from her hand. Metal-kissed tile. Oil bloomed like a stain that wouldn't come out. My wife's mouth opened, then closed, then opened again, like a fish learning it had been caught. My daughter stared at the phone, then at her mother. Then she ran. Footsteps, a door, a lock. I stood there with my hands flat on the counter, watching the steam rise, watching the message glow, watching the life I thought I owned quietly fold itself in half. My wife whispered my name. I didn't answer, because in that moment, something inside me stopped asking questions and started counting. Denial is not loud, it's polite. It offers explanations dressed as mercy. A wrong number, a joke, a coworker who drinks too much. I let her perform them all while I scraped burnt batter into the trash like evidence I didn't need anymore. She cried, carefully. Not for me, for the timing. I nodded. I poured milk. I checked the time. I told my daughter we'd talk later. Inside, something methodical woke up. Brad. The name felt rehearsed. I remembered the late meetings. The gym bag that smelled wrong. The way she guarded her phone like it was a pulse. I remembered how she'd stopped looking at me when she laughed. At night, she slept facing away. I lay still and listened to her breathe like a thief timing a hallway. 3 days later, my daughter-in-law called. "If you want to join Thanksgiving," she shouted over the phone, "come wash the dishes." Her voice was sharp with ownership, as if my presence was a favor she was granting, as if I were already something to be used. I smiled at the wall. "Enjoy," I said. Then I hung up. That night, I booked a flight I didn't tell anyone about. I didn't confront. I audited. Phone records first. Patterns are honest. Numbers repeat when people don't think anyone's watching. Brad had a rhythm. Early mornings, late nights, long calls when I was working late. I watched, quietly. I installed nothing. I broke nothing. I let her hang herself with routine. The DNA kit arrived in a plain box. I told myself it was for peace. That was a lie. It was for control. I needed to know if the betrayal had been patient enough to rewrite blood. While we waited, I left. Switzerland doesn't ask questions if you pay on time. The villa sat above a lake so still it looked staged. Glass walls, white stone, silence you could hear your thoughts in. I posted one photo. Just one. The kind that suggests permanence. My phone exploded. 71 missed calls. Family, friends. My daughter-in-law, suddenly sweet. Suddenly apologetic, suddenly interested in when I'd be coming home. I let it ring. Back home, my wife spiraled. Messages softened. Apologies sharpened. She asked where I was. I sent a picture of mountains and said nothing else. The DNA results came in while the Alps slept. I opened the envelope alone. The truth didn't shout. It confirmed. I came back on a Tuesday, midday, no warning. She was at the table, phone in hand. Brad's name lit her face like a confession she couldn't stop repeating. I set the envelope down between us. She knew before she opened it. People always do. Her hands shook. Tears arrived early like they'd been practicing. She said my name the way someone says a prayer they don't believe in anymore. "Is she mine?" I asked. The room tilted. She nodded. Then broke. Words spilled. Years collapsed. Brad wasn't a mistake. He was a plan. A double life folded neatly between school pickups and grocery lists. I listened, calm, curious, already done. When she finished, I slid my phone across the table. A photo of the villa, a screenshot of my bank transfer, a document transferring assets into a trust she wasn't part of. Her breath stuttered. "You can't," she said. I already did. I didn't yell. I invited witnesses. Thanksgiving arrived without me. Instead, I sent a group message. Photos, documents, the truth, arranged cleanly. My daughter-in-law called first. Her voice cracked when she realized the dishes she'd demanded access to were no longer hers. "You're tearing the family apart," she said. "No," I replied. "I'm correcting the math." My wife tried once more. Love, history, our child. I handed her the custody agreement. I'd prepared months before she thought she was being clever. Brad disappeared. Men like him do when the fantasy demands rent. I moved back into the villa. Changed my number. Left instructions with my lawyer that were polite and irreversible. The lake freezes in winter. Perfectly still. Nothing on the surface moves, but everything underneath is locked in place. I watch it from the glass wall with a cup of coffee I don't share anymore. I think about the kitchen. The phone, the message that screamed. How close I was to begging for explanations that would have poisoned me slowly. I didn't crush anyone with force. I let gravity work. Some people mistake silence for weakness. They only realize the error when there's nothing left to ask for. I don't miss them. I miss who I thought I was, and I'm glad he's gone.